Welcome back, everyone, and welcome to those of you guys who are tuning in just now. If you just did, you missed out on the defeat of Paraguay. Peru managed to take that home 3-0 in at some points it seemed like an easy endeavor. At some points it was a little more hard fought, but we are now ready to bring you Argentina versus Peru. I'm Toby, joined by Saint, and we are bringing to you the Nations Royale. It's been good fun so far, and as you can see down in the bottom, the map Beto has already been done. It's going to be Erangel, Miramar, Sanok, Vikendi, Erangel. I'm really sad that we don't get to see Vikendi early on. I thought that's I think that's going to be one of the best maps in the game.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun purely because people don't really understand it yet. They don't really know where all those dips are and where the the rotation paths are. So it's a bit of an unknown factor for everyone, which makes it even more chaotic. And chaos is the name of the game in this kind of game mode. So I want to get all the way there. I want to get to 4 maps. So I think we probably will. We saw Peru. I think it was a bit of a mismatch versus Paraguay, right? It sort of felt like they had much more gun skill. But coming into this, Argentina, if not the best, or at least the second best LATAM region right now in PUBG.
Yeah, they are one of the very best in Nations Royale as well. I mean, they've been up there at the. It's always them and them in Brazil who have their brawl outs in the end of it, and I think when we take a look at the rosters in just a moment, you'll see why, because there is a lot of very high level talent at that Argentinian roster.
Yeah, a lot of players we've seen, like at international level as well, they perform against the best from Europe, the best from America, and in some cases even the best from Asia. So there's definitely some pedigree to this Argentinian roster, and I think coming into this, you have to say Peru's the underdog, but based on the way we saw them play in that first best of 3, they looked coherent. They looked like a good team. They looked like they were working together in all cases. And I think coming into this, they should put up a pretty hard challenge for Argentina.
Yeah, you'd have to think so. I mean, you'd have to think so. I like the way that they were maneuvering around on the map. And if you're Argentina, I hope they've done their homework and sit and watch these games coming into this one, because there were some tell signs on how Peru like to do things. You could kind of tell if 1 or 2 cars start rolling towards you, odds are there's going to be another 15 to 17 cars to follow, because once they were committed on a decision, they all just went for it. We saw the breach on Erangel down towards the warehouse. We saw when they started to push across the road and push it down south on Miramar as well. And then obviously, I mean, Sanok was a little bit of a different one, because it was just a boot camp slaughter. But Peru was it was one of those, we have one big axe because we only want to have to swing it once. It's not all this. It's not all this nitty gritty fighting all over the place. We will have one attack, and that attack is going to win us the games.
It kind of felt like tonight has been sort of a fight between teams that like to spread out and take compounds, and teams that like to just take gunfights. And so far, Peru and Russia, I think, stand out as 2 teams that were really aggressive, just going for those sort of death stack fights where they sort of group up into one big ball and just push onto those isolated groups. And so far, it seems to be working. But I'm curious if that sort of strategy from Peru can work against a team like Argentina that has much better gun skill than we saw from Paraguay.
Does that mean that strength outweighs dexterity?
I think it depends on your levels, right? You know, if you're level, you know, if you've got 1 strength and you've got like 10 dexterity, you're not going to win against someone with 10 strength. But if you've got a bit of both,
and beat the mouse, I don't know. Who's the elephant? Who's the mouse?
What's the competition? I mean, you have to say Argentina's the elephant, right? I think there's no other way to look at it. But if the competition is going into tunnels, if the competition is caving, you'd have to say the mouse is probably going to win. So it's all about what kind of competition we see. You know, do we see that sort of macro style where the team that out-rotates wins? And in that, based on what we saw from Peru, you'd think maybe it's them. Or do we just see those straight-up gunfights where realistically Argentina is going to have that advantage?
It's I think it's gonna come down to, because if Peru tries to take on Argentina the same way that they just took on Paraguay, I want to say both expecting and also kind of hoping to see a very different outcome as to what they're hoping for. Because if you're planning on being able to take down Argentina in a full-on brawl, I don't want to take anything away from Peru, because it just managed to get a 3-0. That's hard to do no matter who you're up against, but I just don't think they can do that against Argentina.
I mean, you look back to that game 1 on Erangel where Paraguay had control of the compound, you know, by the ferry field, and Peru just went, you know, let's just crash it, and they pretty much got it for free. Like, I think they lost like 2 or 3 players in that whole push, taking down like 10 of Paraguay. Yeah, and like, if you do that against a team like Argentina, you're going to lose a lot more players than that, and I think you're going to come out of that much worse than you'd think.
Yeah, more often than not, at least. I'm excited to get to see the rosters and just a short moment. We should be ready to bring in the games in just a few. I think there were some Argentinian players. Either they forgot that they were playing today, maybe they didn't know the exact time of when they were playing today. But they seemed like they've been called on the bit. Maybe that's the trick. Just if you're Peru, just win really quickly. You can so that you can catch them off guard. We'll see. Here are your teams to play. As you can see, Chile managed to beat Mexico. They are going up against Brazil as we speak. And then, of course, the matchup we were covering just before, Peru versus Paraguay. They managed to bring it home there up against Argentina. Now there is going to be a loser's bracket. You can see a lower bracket, I should call it. Mexico and Paraguay are down there now, having lost their initial games. And they will be going up, of course, against the losers of what we are witnessing right now. And then as we make our way further, Canada and USA will be squaring off against one another as well. So let's see here the rosters of the two teams we will get to see play. If you look at Argentina, if you look at Peru, there might be names you can recognize on both, but I'm seeing more names that I recognize personally on the Argentinian roster than the counterpart.
And I think two players you have to pick out straight away from that Argentinian roster is Silva and Pome. Right, we've seen them in GLL wingmans in the past where they absolutely dominated, even against some of the best players from North America. And then you look at also their international experience, the experience they've had on LAN, where they've been a pretty great team, playing against the best from all over the world. So that Argentinian roster has a lot of pedigree. But then I look towards Peru and what we saw from that game before. Players like Ali Oscar, where he got that 1v3, which was pretty awesome to see before he got shut down by one of his own teammates. So maybe there is that gun skill from Peru. There's sort of they're definitely a dark horse in this, right? We're coming into this, Argentina is a favorite. Yeah, but what we saw from Peru, there was definitely gun skill there that could match an Argentinian team.
Yeah, whether it's your opponents or your teammates, Peru can get it done, that's for sure. Repo and Low Kicks, I think, are two player names very, very much worth mentioning. Have played against the very best of the best on the global stage as well. So we'll see. We'll see if the I mean, to be fair, Argentina, they didn't get to sit around out, right? So the pressure is kind of also on them to be worth the I guess the sitting out around.
Yeah, last time out in season 2, Argentina and Brazil were the two furthest teams from South America, from the LATAM region. So they were able to get that bye from round 1 and skip the initial round. And they've kind of got to prove that they're still that team. They're still the team that beat the respective LATAM teams and got all the way to those matches against the North American teams. They've got to prove that they deserve that title of, or at least they deserve the praise that we're giving them for their gun skill and for their ability as a team.
We'll see. Just a short moment to go until the game will be live. And again, I mean, I'm a little sad that we don't get to see Vikendi thrown in there right off the bat. I just feel like, from what we've seen on it so far, both because, of course, it's kind of a fresh view from us, or for us, but also just it's clear to see that there's a lot more thinking on the fly. You said, I mean, they don't know the terrain as well. Just overall, I feel like it's just a fun map, especially for this sort of thing. It's a good combination of compounds all over the place, but also a good amount of cover if you are forced out to the open. But we are headed over to Wrangle, of course, the Wrangle remastered. And let's see how things are going to pan on out here. A lot of Argentinian players are jumping down towards Pachinki, and it seems like they're getting it for free.
Yeah, but it looks like Argentina are not interested in that mini island. Like they're looking at sort of the Rostock areas, your Yasnais, your Pachinkis, and sort of favouring that eastern side of the map. But the fact that they don't have any presence on the military island, if the circle does go down there, it's going to be a very rough game.
It could potentially, that's for sure. You wanna get down fast. Tesla, he is. It seems to me like he's floating around. Oh, if they're just turn around right now.
He's just gonna go.
The car and get your asses down to military right now. The team that gets there first wins the game.
But it's really like, does Peru take control of both those bridges? We saw it from Hungary versus Poland.
I don't think they can. They haven't even gotten weapons yet.
Yeah, I mean, they need to start looting. Yeah,
they're not in a position to do it. They can steal they can take away a lot of cars. Think of how many players from Argentina are inside. Wait, oh, he's AFK. Think of how many players from Argentina are inside the inside Pachinki right now, right? If they take away a ton of their vehicles, there's only so many players you can fit in the US.
Mm-hmm.
This is
Also,
gonna be interesting. How are they gonna find cars for all those players? I think that's actually a mistake on their part to send so many players land inside the city. You should commit like 5 or 6 of those players to fly around the city and find cars, then drive to the city and get into a good position with them.
It's not looking good.
Fly straight, observers. If we crash, it's your fault. Not the network lag that has been detected.
If the server's lagging, then Argentina might be quite liking that. Not having to go to the military island, I think, get away with it. But
yeah, true.
The one thing that's worth pointing out is we're not on esports settings, so there's no hard spawns in Pochinki, and it actually looked like there was no cars on the road at all. So I don't know how those players. Oh, the scary baby's back. Oh no!
But there are gliders
in Pochinki. I thought they were all on the coast.
No, but I mean it's just general.
Yeah, but they've got a long walk to go if they want to get one of those gliders. But realistically, that whole group, like, they have no cars. So how do they get to the zone? They need to cross those bridges. And so if Peru can set up,
car I can see +3. There's a car coming.
But they need more than that. There's like 15 of them.
Taxiing, man. Just got a taxi.
Oh, they are getting those initial kills. Yeah. Oh, he's not AFK.
He's opted it. He's not gonna live to see another day. They're gonna send they do have 2. They have 3 cars. Look at that. They got plenty of vehicles. Now, for them, I hope that there isn't a bridge camp waiting, because that's going to be... I mean, every single explosion of a car here is 4 players dead, right? So let's hope for the sake of the Argentinians that they'll be safe in crossing. And also, I mean, if you're Peru, let's hope that you have something ready and waiting. There's nothing. This is going to be 12 players from Argentina who gets a completely safe passage across.
But I want to see what the southern side of that bridge is looking like. Have the Peruvians already got across? Because that might be why there's no one on this northern side. No, there's only one player.
Oh, yeah, exactly. It's just Lucifer.
He's going to...
All the Peruvian players are going to the east.
But what we might see then is we might see both teams make it across. It kind of feels like Peru expected Argentina to set up on the eastern side and get across there. And Argentina's just duped them. They've just gone straight for that western bridge. Got a lot of players over. And now can they do a reverse? Can they set up on the bridges and maybe hold them out?
These are the players that didn't get cars.
Yeah, they pulled the short straws, and now they've got to pray they have long legs, I suppose. Going to be running for quite a while, but realistically, these players can set up and punish those Peruvians that are coming in a bit too late. Go on. You can make it. Oh, go on. They made it.
There you go.
Just about get over the line eventually, but it was a little bit rougher than you'd like to see.
They do manage to make it work, though. Down towards military we go. And I must say, I mean, we were talking a lot about it in game 1. I'm surprised no more people went to try and take control of that early on.
Yeah, especially from Peru. Given they had control of both bridges early on, they've not sent anyone across the island is probably a bit of a mistake, and I think something that might come back to bite them later on.
Yeah, for sure. They both the teams, I want to say, should have had somebody down there, but it seems like the first team to react to it is going to be Argentina. So they're already down with the majority of players. I want to say there's something around like 7 or 8, maybe 9 players that haven't made their way over yet. Let's see. Let's listen into what Palmer and Co has to show us here. As we see them trying to turn around a buggy.
Ay, dale.
Sí, eso tenemos que cubrir nosotros ahora. Ya te estoy yendo.
Ya fue, subite, güey. Vamos.
Santi, veniste con nosotros.
Gotta get more speed. That's what they're
Oye,
saying.
dijiste que querías tirar una trampa de pinchos en el puente.
Are they going to get more speed? Or are they driving away?
Vamos a hacer lo último.
¿Qué tomamos, grupo 2?
¿Dónde estás vos? ¿Arriba de SOS?
Acabamos de cruzar el puente. Acabamos de cruzar.
Venite conmigo, Santi.
Ok, vayan metiendo más para zona, los que ya están abajo.
¿Cómo?
Controlemos más,
No manda el buggy.
más para
Se me
abajo.
frena.
Okay.
I like the calm, smile, and happy. They were clearly having a blast. It wasn't all super duper try hard. They were trying to turn the buggy around. Unfortunately, it didn't quite work out. And now they're headed down towards the military base, or island, I should say, just like the Peruvian team is. And well, fortunately for them, the eastern bridge was clear, and they have made it way down here.
Yeah, 10 seconds until we see which side of the island we're going to be going to, whether we go towards that area that Argentina have set up on and sort of started to take control of all of it. But realistically, we're going to be going towards the east. It's not going to be going towards that main Argentinian contingent. And there's an opportunity here for Peru to to actually get across and get into good positions. But we've got a bit of a cluster going on as Argentina have found 4 kills for free. Pomi and Rayo shooting the people out of the car.
That's a tough
Ouch.
loss early on. 2 players racking up 4 kills. That is that's a feels bad, man. And there are more, as you can see. There's actually a good chunk of Peruvian players. You have a car with 1 extra, you have a car with 2 extra, and Gatka still. So that's 3 players up there. I want to say around 10 players have yet to make their way over from Peru. Now, are they going to try and cross and backstab from here? Or what's their plan? Because they're going to be either it's going to work out really well and they get a good backstab in, or it's not going to work out at all.
And Shepard's currently shooting his own teammate, so if he's just going to keep doing that, it's not going to go well.
I think he's just upset that he didn't get picked up.
Yeah, they're going to get lift, but it's looking a little bit rough for that. The stragglers from Argentina are going to rotate straight into the remaining Peruvians. And realistically, this is actually some of the good players as well. We see Pomes in that car.
Yeah,
they're going to lose some of their more experienced players in this. Yes, they will have the sort of IGLing, whatever you can do as an IGL in this, but they do lose out on their gun skill that might be really important for their late game. It looks like they've just about got across. Got a little bit lucky with the fact that the Peruvians are trying to go for the swim.
Yep, just exactly. Literally 5 seconds more. That could have been going the other way. Do they see the car, though? I mean, they must have now, right? You can see them stopping to shoot. There's 2 people with AK shooting out the windows of the back car. Fisher actually finds a knock on 1. Rassi goes down as well. There's a ball going on. Oda is now the one in the middle, and he is going to fall, too. He's probably going to get run over. Yep, there you go. He falls 31-20. In favor of Argentina right now. That is unfortunate. You can see Pomes there now ready and waiting for the rest of them to try and push forward. Only 1 player gone down for Argentina so far.
Yeah, it kind of felt like there was some unfortunate timing there for the Peruvians as they got towards that bridge pretty much at the same time as the Argentinians, but just unfortunately the Argentinians had the lineups, and now the kill feed is just looking so much in Argentina's favor. It's looking really rough for Peru, as nearly half the team's gone for only 1 kill in return.
Push further up there, further out into the blue, and oh my lord, it gets double. Like, it seemed like it did. Nice double spray coming in, securing more kills, and now I've doubled the numbers of Peru. There's still players from Peru back on the main island. We are in phase 3, so I was just going to say, how long can they survive for Mirage already down?
Yeah, it's looking rough, I think is the way to put it. And you see that circle as well. The main gunfight's going to happen fairly soon on the southern side of the circle. There's another kill in favor of Argentina as Pome is farming on this bridge. Realistically, you're looking at this now, and there needs to be some hero play from that southern group of Peruvians for them to have any chance of game 1.
It is not looking good at all. 30-14. They are somewhat contained inside the military base. You can see all the Argentinian players are just doing a merry-go-round here, trying to get better positioning, trying to see if they can get up towards the northern side. The full caravan of Argentinians are wrapping around Sils and 4 in a car, driving through the military base, but seemingly without any trouble.
Yeah, and at some point, I think the Argentinians are going to recognize that or at least the vast majority of the Peruvian players are all in that one little area. And once they do start wrapping around and clearing out the season side, I think we'll sort of see that final gunfight come out where the southern side just collapses and just decides to end the game here. Yeah,
Tom's looking down. I think he's well aware there's someone underneath him. He just doesn't really want to overcommit to peek into it. Let's see now how many of the Argentinian players are actually going to try and wrap around. Oh my god, nice shooting coming out there from Boblo.
Wow. Here's a question for you. How many Argentinians die this game? 3?
They're going to go down to 26.
Well, I'm not seeing that. I'm thinking maybe a 28, 29 here. I just don't see a way, unless they start messing around, that the Argentinians are going to lose any more players, really. They look, yeah, I mean, if they go for some silly plays like this, then, yeah, I can see it maybe actually being a much closer game than we'd perhaps expect.
Yeah, Rebo does fall. It takes 1 knock to get a comeback. At least to start with 1, and that's one. Now they just need another 29 knocks.
Yeah, just a couple.
Pablo.
Yeah, he seems to be getting away with Attributed murder, but now finally this strike's going to come in. He did, I think, get a knock. No, he didn't actually get one, but there's a bunch of trades coming in, but they're not really favorable for Peru. A lot of Argentinian names in the kill feed right now, and it's really not looking great for Peru. 3-1 disadvantage now, and realistically, the kill feed is pretty much uniquely in favor of Argentina.
I see, trying to make something happen as the MK14 and 8X.
How many bullets are hitting him right now?
Everybody is there. He has no idea where to shoot because he's getting shot from literally every single angle in the game. 7 and 28. Might go down to 5. Let's see if that's going to happen. The spin out comes in. Arctic, nope, not going to happen. Has to try and run off. He's now revealed to every single Argentinian in the server, and he's going to fall as well.
5 more Peruvians to try and salvage this game, and I just don't see it happening at this point. This would have to be an absolutely ridiculous comeback, and now pretty much all of them are knocked. I think we're realistically down to one player up on that northern side. There we go. The victory comes out. Argentina 28-0. Didn't quite get down to your 26, Toby.
No! Almost there. Argentina 28-0. That was a slaughter. And to be fair, we complimented Peru for early reactions to situations, and that was just not early enough. And now the light went down. That always happens. It's going to be back on in a second. I'm a little in the dark right now. It's
Spooky
right.
Toby is here.
Like, is it one of those lights? Kind of, almost. We got it. The timing was just a second off. But interesting game, nonetheless. Reminds me of my dad. When I was a kid, I was mesmerized by how he could always tell when we could walk across and the green was light. The light was green, I should say. Until I realized that he just looked at like the street lights where it went yellow first. You know, I didn't know that when I was a kid. He had me fooled for I want to say the first 5 years of existence. I was mesmerized by how we could go green and then we would turn green. This was a turning point to me. This idea, it seemed like more of an accidental crash, which then turned really favorable for Argentina.
Yeah, the mutant rather, the MK47 was doing a lot of work. Yeah. Put a bunch of tags in, but realistically, I wanted to see Peru set up on both bridges, right? I wanted to see them try and prevent Argentina from getting in, and they just took too long. You know, they just didn't quite get to the bridges until Argentina had already got a large contingent across, and then they tried to rotate and just ran straight into the main Argentinian force. So it's I think rough is the way to describe game one, and it's kind of a callback to what we saw in EU as well, in EMEA rather. We saw Hungary, beat Poland and looked really good, and then they came against the might of Russia, and it was just a slaughter. I think was the best way to describe it. And it kind of feels like maybe this will go the same way, where Argentina just has too much gun skill. The pedigree of the team is just a bit too much for Peru to handle. But we've got 2 more maps at least for Peru to prove that's not the case.
It's going to be good fun to see how things are going to pan out as we head on over to the next maps. But I mean, I'm still baffled that no one, especially given the plane, no one had a single player on military to begin with. That was to me.
Yeah, it was a little bit odd. And also, we saw Peru was sort of set up around both bridges. Like that's where they landed, around the military areas and the FOPA areas. But somehow they only had 1 player on the island before the main Argentinian group got across. It was baffling.
That ain't it, guys. Lucifer can't be the only guy that's going to be your downfall. And it was 1-0 Argentina. We're going to take a short break, and then we'll be back with game number 2 in just a moment. Argentina takes game number 1 in what was a pretty quick endeavor. Once they get down towards the south, they barely even allowed for the Peruvian team to get a foothold in military base before they were all done for. Game number 2 will be coming up in just a short moment. Miramar is the place to go. And now last game, Saint, was a short one, but off of what we saw, what could Peru do different to maybe bring home the Miramar game?
Of all this talk about Peru's sort of ability to work as a team, their rotations in that first game were looking really good in the previous series. They just looked like a completely different team. Like they almost didn't pay attention to where the circle was. They didn't rotate fast enough. So I want to see them be more proactive. Like if you think back to the Miramar game they played against Paraguay, they did such an intelligent rotation to get around and get into Puerto Paraiso. And that sort of intelligence, that sort of proactive thinking just didn't seem to appear in that first game against Argentina. So I wonder if maybe they're a little bit scared right now of their opponents. So there's not quite the confidence there that they had against the team they felt like they were the favorites against.
3 kills.
That's rough, isn't it?
That ain't it, my friends.
That is
Helmet
rough.
was able to rank up quite a few. Finds 4. Rebo found 1 there as well. But overall, it was a pretty quiet endeavor for the most part. I mean, once we head down to the field, Peru had pretty much already lost half their roster on the bridge. So a tricky one, and as you said, very correctly stated, Saint. It's in circles like those, games like those are who reacts first, who reacts quicker, and Argentina did for sure. Despite them having a hard, I think had they had cars in Pachinki, they would have rotated even faster than what they actually did. But that was not to be. Game went the way that it went, and now let's see. Seems like Peru was splitting both East and West, and Argentina is going right down the middle. They had pretty good control of the bigger cities last game. Now let's see how it looks as we head on over to Miramar.
Yeah, well, that last game is the most one-sided win we've seen so far in Season 3 of Nations Royale. So I'm a little bit nervous for Peru's future, at least in the winners bracket. But the split is pretty good. We've seen quite consistently now that Miramar Circles likes to sort of go to one of the edges, right? It either goes far west towards the El Pozo area.
Every circle goes toward the edges, I feel.
It kind of feels like the game right now favors that east and western side. So the fact that Peru has this sort of east-west split might come in handy later on.
True. Could do. Let's see. Where is the first circle going?
What a surprise. Back down to Puerto Paraiso.
There's no one there. Okay, again, this is a repeat of last game. I mean, it's not as punishing if you don't get there early.
At least it's not
but
heatless.
this is literally the game that Peru won.
Yeah, I mean, but it is a little bit further southwest this time, so I highly doubt it's going to end towards Puerto Paraiso. I'd expect more so the fields to the west. But realistically speaking, it's whichever team reacts first now, gets down there, gets control of those main cities. Because, if they can't get control of the compound sort of to the southwest of Paraiso, it's going to be very rough to get in. Because there's a lot of sort of hillsides you can play on. But if you get ambushed by teams in hard cover, there's really not much you can do.
Oh, I mean, who reacts first? You'd have to think that Argentina has to jump on this circle, but how do they do it? I mean, do they just go through Los Leones and take position down towards the southeast, or what do they do? There's a vehicle for 4 of them. There's one more. That's 8. So these guys here should be all right to rotate out. I think there were only 8 players. They should be okay. Worst comes to worst, they can always find a car, come back and pick one up. And here we go. Bora found the golden Mirado. Let's see how long he's going to be able to keep that. I feel like the one time I've had a golden Mirado, I drove it a little further than where he is right now. I think I clipped the edge of the fence there, and then I flipped it.
Well, I've got into Colorado once. I was playing with Dan Hayes, and we actually, the guy stole it from the building and tried to drive off. We chased him down. We only had deagles each. I think we had... I had a deagle. Dan had nothing, and I got knocked by the guy in the car who also had a pistol, and had to drop it on the floor for Dan to pick up and kill the guy. But that was the only time we ever got the car, and I think we survived about 20 more seconds before just getting blown up. So, at least from what I've seen, it's almost a bit of a bad luck symbol.
What I just saw right there seems a bit too OP, in my opinion. A meteor flare gun. You can call in a meteor strike. I feel like that's a little OP.
Imagine if this, randomly, we just threw in the games on the fantasy mode every now and then. We just said, best of 5, map 4 will be magic only.
Oh no!
Just fireballs raining down from the sky. Imagine that. We've got 32v32, and they're all mages. They're all bringing out their fireballs.
Oh no! That's what I would be saying.
Yeah. Do these guys get blown up?
Could be. We'll see. Does
I think it's
the
gonna happen.
Peruvian team know how to drive? They are. Oh, I thought that was a rock. That was a bush. Rendered weirdly for me. Let's see. They are full speed sending it in a Mirado. And yes, while the Mirado is fast, it's a great vehicle to transfer yourself across the map. Go into the open like that, and it might not be the case.
You touch a ridge and your car's just noped. It just changes its mind about living. But it looks like Argentina's going to be the first team into the circle. We saw in the first series that Peru really liked Beholders. Thought Logan's found 2 free kills. I think they blew up the car, grabbed 2 kills. There's a third player there. And did he just hit that shot?
Yep. I mean, it wasn't the guy we were looking.
Oh, wasn't
at,
him.
but
Oh,
yeah. No,
I thought he just quickscoped to the M4.
Oh no.
Oh.
He finds one. Peru starts killing their teammates. This is getting out of hand.
Are they giving up already?
Peru needs.
Oh, that's bad.
Actually shot his teammate.
He shot his teammate and also can't get the res.
He shot his teammate. I think he might have shot him out of the car by accident. I'm not sure exactly how that went down, but now he's dead.
No, it's a 6-man advantage.
He was
already
the first one on military, and now he's dead.
Yeah, that's a proper sad boy hours for him right now. But we saw, going back to that first series, that Peru liked that Eastern rotation. They got really far into the circle, and it looks like they're going to go for the same thing again. But Argentina are there first. They're in the circle already. Can they set up? Can they just hold out Peru? Because they should expect that Peru are going to go towards that eastern side. I wonder if they're going to come all the way in and try and sort of set up a defensive line and force Peru towards the edge of the circle.
I'm just looking up towards Peru. They're so far away still. I mean, if they come in one car at a time, you'd have to think that Argentina is going to be able to set up somewhat of a road blockade.
Yeah, I think they've got sort of like a minute window right now where they need to get in before it's too late. Argentina is still rotating. There's still an opportunity to get in, but if they take too long, they're going to miss that window, and we might be seeing a perfect game from Argentina at that rate.
I mean, to be fair, they're putting in a good effort. They're going down as fast as they can. It's just they're so far north. I mean, the entire half of the team that went to the west, they have had so far to so far to rotate that. I don't know. We'll see. Rebo is cutting across. They obviously want to try and see if they can cut them off to some extent.
Bold prediction time for you.
Yeah.
In this game, Argentina are going to have at least 28 players alive at the end. That's my prediction. I think, based off what we've seen so far, based off what we see from the rotations, that this is going to be another blowout for Argentina. But I'd like to be proven wrong.
That's
falling off your bike's not a great way to do it, though.
That's not it.
What is that? Oh,
isn't there a rule that said
how big the misery?
Can the cameraman please find the center of that circle and tell me that it's in the water? There's no way that circle is on land. Don't chase.
Oh, that's a security you got to get.
You don't have an SMG. You don't chase the car with someone shooting at you, unless if you're them, because it seems like Rebo ain't too scared.
It kind of feels like they're going for the same play we saw last time.
And stop. Nope, they're gonna continue. Okay.
It's like that.
For info or what's going on here?
I don't know what's going on. If they get a kill out of this,
it would be impressive, but no.
Get in the glider. Run away. It's the only way you might escape from the Argentinians. But yeah, I mean, I would like to see, is that circle actually on land? Because it kind of looks like it's not. Is it literally as far towards the water as possible?
That is on land.
I kind of feel like it's literally on the coast.
I can't tell. I'm trying to put up a pen here. I feel like it's just in the water. I don't know, but it's an interesting one regardless.
Oh, it's not looking good. It is not looking good for Peru right now. Rebo hasn't missed a shot in about 3 years. Taking down players and all these, they sort of farming this decent rotation. That should be another kill for Rebo. Yeah.
Yep. He is just slaughtering them, and not only that, but these guys have been driving for so long and for so long in Peru as well. That there's just. I mean, not only are they feeding the herd of the circle, but now they're also coming in a situation where Rebo has to land like 1, maybe 2 bullets to get the knock, and that's he does that. Rebo lands those shots.
Yeah, we're getting to the end of phase 2, right? The end of phase 2.
Yeah,
and Peru are not in the circle. Well, they are. They've just about got in the circle now, and they've got into it with the 10-man disadvantage. So it's looking rough.
To be fair,
What's that?
I continue to do it. Stupid. There's still a lot of the players from Argentina aren't in either.
Yeah, but we spoke about how the circle likes to go to the edge, and it's just taken the mick now. It is literally on the edge of the map. Are we going to end on the coast? I mean, I don't think we get that far. But
In the water, if we continue the way that we're going right now.
can we just keep one Peruvian player alive just to see when the game finishes?
Yeah, it's continuing to go down.
Where does Peru go?
I'm not even sure if we get to see the next circle with what's going on right now.
Yeah, I mean, Argentina has control of pretty much all that's left. The only thing that Peru really could do is go swim and hope for the best. I hope the circle just shifts into the water, which...
In the water, they could win it.
Yeah.
Yep.
We could go back to like 2017 PUBG. The glory
Maybe.
days.
Maybe.
I mean, they found a little route here. They can get along the coast, and based on what these shifts are doing, if they can get control of these compounds, maybe they're going to win the game out. But you have to expect that eventually it's going to come away from the edge. I mean, it might not. I have seen a circle end on the so you know the coast between the river between Higos and the mainland. I've seen it end 3 meters away from the water there before.
Yeah, they get an end.
It's
very,
ridiculous.
very shoreline-ish. Yeah, exactly.
Worst thing is that was in a game with the water shifting. It was a competitive match. So,
Yeah.
oh,
Wait,
oh,
Remote.
beep, boop.
Oh.
Lagging. I think. Yeah, that's his excuse anyway. He's standing still for about 20 seconds. Make sure it looks like he's lagging.
That's the kill that comes in. The first kill.
I don't think they're going to get one. I'm going to be honest.
Oh, I mean, they are going to. People would think he's standing still right there.
But there's no one near him. I don't think he goes down.
There were 2 opponents north of him, right? Or no? Am I wrong?
Oh, yes. Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Imagine if Reba just comes back now and just kills him. He gets run over.
They're
Oh. He's a bush. He's a Wookiee. That's why. He's a cactus. What am I seeing?
I'm so confused.
The blue is going to have more kills this game than Peru are.
Yeah. Are they got us
He's doing a Batista and standing still and becoming invisible right now.
standing there?
Oh, he's tripped. I don't know what's going on. Oh, they found him. They found him.
And now they start killing their teammates too. This is really
What's going on?
I'm confused. Anyway.
He's been taking lessons from Drax from Guardians of the Galaxy with his invisibility moves.
Oh,
But eventually he gets spotted.
that's what it is.
Are we counting that as the Blues kill, given the Blue got the knock?
Yeah, we could.
I'm kind of seeing, like, is the Blue going to have more kills this game than Peru?
There is a good chance that will be the case.
But, I mean, Peru's going to have more kills against Peru than Peru are.
Their own players.
Yeah. It's rough.
It's just,
I think there's a... Oh, there's one. There's one. Oh, he's not flushed him yet. Tactical res.
I did just keep anything going on. Argentina starts to kill each other.
Right now, Toby, I can't hear you, so I don't know if it's my end and I'm lagging or if it's your end. You are, like, your voice is a robot right now. You're turning into Rebo on my end. But I think it's on my end, so... But it kind of feels like this game's already over. Even though 14 Peruvians are alive, I don't think they're long for this. Well, they are getting a couple of kills, so it's not been a perfect game. But I did say this game is probably going to be more one-sided than the last one. It does kind of feel like it's going to go that way, being only 30-12. So I feel a little bit bad for Peru that it's such a one-sided affair right now. I think this is just the pedigree of Argentina. You know, we said that Argentina and Brazil were the teams coming into this that we expected to do really well, but I didn't think it'd be this one-sided. They're just literally just W-keying in and just getting every kill, winning every 1v1. It's
they have 1 kill.
not looking good.
If we count
Yeah.
it, so you said 28, and that was bold guess. This might not even be. I mean, yeah, there's no response. They're the only kills that are coming in are Argentinians killing each other right now.
Yeah, oh, there's one. Just about. He gets the kill to 29. They can still do this. Comeback's on. I've lied.
Nope,
I've lied.
that's gonna be a 29. Wow, that's wild. That is very, very wild and very. I mean, again, I'm really not trying to take any credit away at all from Peru because we saw them do so well in the last game. They are just not a match for this Argentinian team.
I made my bold prediction of it being a more one-sided match than the last one, and it seems that's come to fruition.
It's insane.
It was a great display of exactly why Argentina should be feared in this tournament, right? They're sort of showing what the USA and Brazil most likely are going to be looking forward to, or more likely not looking forward to. But these shots by Revo are great. And then we saw him turn into a bush, become a cactus for a little bit.
Yeah, I'm not sure exactly what happened. Not sure what that was. Was it maybe a get behind the enemy lines? This right here. Blip, blop, and boop. At least he survived. I mean, that's something.
I mean, it was quite impressive to land on your feet after flipping off your bike like
one
that.
of those 10 out of 10 front flip landings. It's pretty impressive.
I want to see it from the perspective of the people that run past. Did they really just not notice?
I don't think they did. Somehow, I don't think they did. I'm not sure exactly how that came
Power
to
of the
be,
ghillie
but-
suit right there.
Yeah, true.
Although,
true.
I mean, I said if they're in the lobby with anyone else other than the Peruvians, I think he would have been spotted a bit earlier on. But
You would have to think.
there's not really much you can say about this other than the fact
No,
that
just the
Argentina is just
slaughter.
too good. Yeah.
It was a shoreline slaughter. Nothing more to be said about that one. Hopefully Peru will be able to find something going their way because they need Sanok. They need it to go their way if they want to have one more game to play. We have 3 match points coming up for Argentina. Let's see if Peru will be able to do anything about it. But before that, we'll take a short break. So stick around, guys. We'll see you again in just a few. It is 2-0, and in a couple of minutes it might be 3-0. At least if you watch back the last game, that's how it would feel. Once Argentina activated war mode, they didn't stop for literally every single player from Peru was dead. I'm Toby, joined by Saint, and Saint, I gotta admit, this has been a very one-sided affair so far.
Yeah, I think a couple minutes was probably a pretty fair estimate of how long the next game is going to last, because the first had been a massacre, and we're going on to Sanok, which is the shortest game mode in PUBG. So it's not looking good for Peru. I think when we spoke about coming into this, Argentina were the favourites. We perhaps underestimated how much they were the favourites.
Yeah.
It's a bit rough.
It has been, for sure. I mean, there's no way around it. And it's always, to me, it's like watching different levels of, let's say, a football game or anything, right? Where you can watch two, let's say, whatever B or like League 2 teams go up against each other, and you go, okay, that was a pretty close fight. Let's see what they were doing. And then when they go up against the Champions League team, it's like, well, okay, that's not even comparable.
Yeah, it was... I mean, there's still a chance. They've got 3 maps left.
Yeah,
I mean, I say that they haven't. They've got 1 map left. But maybe somehow Peru will pull something out of the bag. But it's a little bit rough when you notice that Ray has the same amount of kills as Peru.
7 kills.
It's in 2 games. Ray has the same amount of kills as an entire country. So, yeah, I think that's as much analysis as you could do about this. It's a bit of a mismatch.
Is. I don't think there's any way around it, but it's enjoyable nonetheless. And I think, I mean, and that's one of the things where you talked about bragging rights and whatnot. That is what is at stake here. I mean, these guys, for now at least, they're just having a lot of fun. And I think even if you're Peru, you're taking it with a smile on your lips too, and saying, you know what, I mean, we might not be the best team. Let's just have some fun. I hope that we'll see the whole Sanok brawl again. But having said that, I'm seeing a lot of Peruvian players jump out of the plane already, so they're not going to try and have fun in boot camp at all.
Yeah, I feel like that's probably a sign of their confidence, right, coming into this. That when they came against Paraguay, they were sort of confident they could take that gunfight at the start of the game and potentially win out in boot camp, right? But realistically, they would have to maybe have 2 or 3 times the numbers in boot camp to have a chance. I think against some of the more experienced players on that Argentinian roster.
Maybe what they need is that Argentina gets the circle, because they haven't really had a chance to do that full-on committed YOLO push yet. They've always kind of been somewhat near circles, and now, I mean, or last game where no one was near circles. What if we just give the circles to Argentina? Then they win.
Yeah, but we've seen the last two. They got Argentina 28 alive
I'm
in map
trying
1.
to build a storyline here. Don't disapprove. No.
29 alive map 2. Are we going to see a perfect game in map 3?
No, it's not going to happen. I don't think it's possible. I mean,
I kind of feel like if there was ever an opportunity where it might happen, it's here on Sanok, of a map where if you can get a lot of control over the center of the map, realistically, the other team will struggle mightily to find a way.
Right.
Well, that's there was a live image of the mind behind the Peruvian team right now.
There was the comms on the team being a little with technical difficulty right now. No, I mean, to be fair, we were making a laugh of it, and yes, okay, Argentina are playing a lot better than Peru right now, but we saw Peru earlier today do really well. They 3-0'd Paraguay. I mean, we can't really take anything away from them in that regard. It just, as we can see right now, seems at least the way that these matches have been going down makes us believe that Argentina is just that level above.
Yeah, and this is not Peru going out if they lose this. They've got another chance. They'll be playing against the loser of Brazil and Chile, which you'd expect to be Chile. Maybe there's a bit of an upset, which you might see after this game if
I could
if
see
we're
upsets
lucky.
coming in that one. I could see upsets coming in there.
Realistically, Peru have another chance, and what we saw in that first series against Paraguay was promising. I mean, it does just feel like the gun skills just not quite there to match Argentina. But against perhaps one of the lesser regions, against a team that's on a sort of comparable level, I think the team play from Peru, at least in that first series, was really impressive to see.
It was. They communicated well. Their engagements were well coordinated. It just doesn't seem to work here at all.
What I'm going to say is I probably wouldn't do much better if I was in a server against people like Silzen. So I'm glad I'm on the mic and not on the keyboard and mouse right now.
I just wouldn't join that game at all. I'd just be sitting here casting, acting like I knew what was going on.
Pretend I crashed, pretend I lagged out and did a Remo impression.
Oh yeah, that could be a thing. Let's see, Argentina. They do have quite a few players inside the circle already. The remaining few, as you can see here, making their way over towards the east as well. Peru, on the other hand, they a chunk of them has managed to transition over the southern side, over the South Bridge, and are now over here as well. But will they stay and wait for the, I would say, eventual push of Argentina, or is it going to be a let's just take the fight to them now and get it over with?
Yeah, at least in terms of the first few circles, if you compare the first series that Peru had to this one, it feels almost like they're being a bit lethargic versus Argentina, maybe a little bit scared of pushing in and running into a little stack of Argentinians. But this time it seems like they're being a bit quicker. It seems like they're getting into the circle a little bit faster. So maybe we're seeing a bit of a return to the sort of the mindset that they had against Paraguay, which could make this a bit of a closer game.
Yeah, potentially. I mean, so far today, Peru is 1-0 on this map. So who knows? Maybe that's what they need. Let's not talk about what they are on the other maps. Let's just say that they are 1-0 so far. They are down by 1. Now they're down by 2. And let's see if they can turn it around. Yeah,
I mean, I think this is the map where kill advantages are the least important because there's so many opportunities to ambush people, right?
Yes.
There's so many dips, so many rocks you can hide behind that if you can get a drop on some players, you can normally get that 2-for-1 trade or maybe even a 3-for-1 trade if you're lucky.
That's true. We've seen it before. I mean, it becomes kind of Vietnam War all over again, where you don't see anyone, but bullets are literally all over the place, and there's just no way of telling exactly where the opponents are because you find yourself in an area with so much foliage.
Yeah, the one positive difference between this and Vietnam is that at least there's no punji stakes. There's no, the ground's not trying to eat you. So you've only got one enemy in this. Yeah,
I mean, there's a blue circle of death.
I suppose that is
last time I checked, there wasn't one of those in the Vietnam War.
Maybe it was like an American secret weapon, that we...
we just never saw it deployed.
Napalm, I suppose.
I was just going to say, is that napalm maybe?
We've seen at least other battle royales that they use fire, but it's more. I suppose it's more of a gas, isn't it? It's related. It's at least based on H1Z1's gas. I know that. But,
Yeah.
or rather, no, H1Z1 was based on the PUBG Battle Royale number 3. But
You
we're
know
going to
what?
have a
now
quick
that
listen.
now that we have them available, Pome is sitting here playing music, honking the horns as well. Let's take a listen and see how Pome and Argentina are doing.
Está arriba de Quarry, en la casa a la derecha.
Sí.
Sí, sí.
Están todos por ahí.
Lo tomaron arriba, son bastante.
Sí,
¿Frena?
sí, igual están acá, Eva, están en el punto amarillo.
No veo tu punto amarillo. A ver, Rigo, ¿puedes decir dónde están?
Nos falta un DMR, ¿no?
Lo mató Quick. O lo tomaron a Quick. ¿Quick?
Top fragger
¿Son
down.
muchos?
Signs of life in Peru.
Yeah.
Azul, ok.
Reaper went down as well. 2 players down now. Repo and Quick. Those are 2 heavy hitters to lose early on. Maybe this is the turnaround. Flyco Doc gets 1 as well. They will lose people in return. And now, ouch. That's a ow. That's a lot of Argentinian kills all of a sudden coming in return.
Yeah, we saw signs of life, but it kind of felt that Argentina flipped the death switch and they've extinguished what little signs they saw, and now that kill feed has been blue for quite a few kills. And all of a sudden, we went from an even game to a 7-kill advantage with the quite literally flip over switch.
Yeah, that's and also I mean, look at if we talk circle control, there is 2 players from Peru inside this circle.
So they're just relaxing. Get across. Go. Vamos.
Yeah.
Peru, take my energy. Get across that bridge.
Vamos, Peru. You need to. Yeah, I'm not even sure what you need to do. Get across. That's a start.
Last 2 games, we've been predicting the kills. Here's a different one for you. What minute will we end in?
I'm gonna say 12:30. That might be a little too soon, but
That's bold. I'm thinking we're going to get to 15. I think we're going to get to 15 minutes.
Is this gonna play for 7 more minutes?
Now that you say that,
you realize how fast those circles are closing, right?
Yeah, now that you say that, I'm less confident about my prediction. But
I mean, to be fair, if Oda can prone here for a while, he might be able to drag the game out for at least another 30 seconds. But
I'll stick to my my gut instincts. You know? We're going to get to 15.
Okay, I'm gonna say 13 because 12:30 was maybe a little too
rounding
too
up.
optimistic. I'm saying 13.
Say that the Argentinians.
That was the one player behind the line. They do have Oda here as well, but that's really it. Everyone else now is on the edge of the circle.
I need to slip Oda some money to get him to prone in the corner for a bit. Get my prediction coming true, because that I mean, you look at that and think, actually, there's a lot of map control that Peru can take, because Argentina just seem content to stick around
They're
the quarry.
shooting each other in quarry.
It would be a little bit sad, but also hilarious if Argentina somehow come out with this with more kills against Argentina than Peru did.
Yeah, for the most part, it would probably just be sad.
Yeah, it would be
Also kind of funny. I mean, they are clearly not really looking for Peru, because they would find them all crossing had they been with any presence down towards the river.
Yeah, and that's potentially a lifeline being handed to Peru. You know, their ability, if they can get across and maybe get one favorable shift, and suddenly it puts Argentina in a position where they need to push onto compounds, and especially on foot. You know, Sanok, you don't really have many vehicles. It's very rare that you have more than a tuk-tuk or a scooter. So if you can get in that position where you have the hard cover, you have the compounds, and the other team has to push on foot, then there's an opportunity where you can find a way to win the game. But realistically, that 8-man advantage is going to be massive for Argentina.
Yeah, it's not looking good. You can see the camera overview here of exactly how things are panning out. So they have managed to cross. So far, so good. Now it's just a matter of how the next engagement comes to be. There is a vehicle full speed sending it in the direction of Peru. And once he finds them, I believe the remaining players of Argentina will be headed in this exact direction too. Oh, Aldir, not yet.
Yeah, that's a fellow Argentinian. But it looks like the scouts are being sent out to find where the Peruvian forces are. And I think by process of elimination, they have to know roughly where Peru is set up. And now the bullets are starting to fly. So I think now we're going to see that sort of the crescendo, the climax of the final game. Or I say final game. There's always a chance.
There's always a chance indeed. 8 players down, but the spirit is there. And if they just keep running in one by one, I was going to say, if they just keep running in one by one, they're all sending it towards them right now. Chiquitin runs over a teammate. That's a 4 far from optimal. Now players are starting to die. But it is both ways, at least for now.
It's not looking too bad for Peru. They're getting a lot of knocks. They're getting the flushes in as well. So they're starting to clear out this initial force. And look, there's like 4 or 5 down to Argentina. Actually, Peru are putting up a bit of a fight right now. They've sort of been able to shut down that initial push, and I think actually pretty much equalize the man advantage when you take into account the knocks.
Yeah, exactly. It is going in their favor. To be fair, they half the Argentinian team isn't even here yet. So for the players that are here, they're putting in a pretty good effort, considering them being outnumbered. Axmir is rocking probably the best weapon in this situation. You don't want to have to focus too much on reloading in these sort of engagements, especially not when you have 50 opponents in front of you. Let's see if he's going to be able to make any use of it, though. Lyrical does fall too. That's from afar. Homie is miles away too.
And to Peru's credit, they already have more kills in this than they got in the first 2 maps, so there's signs of life and at least signs of improvement from them. It's something they can take into the next series, the next week. Maybe those first 2 games were just unfortunate, just unlucky, and actually, they can contend, they can fight with the other teams. But realistically, looking at this and you're looking at the circle, there's so much in favor of Argentina. It's going to be really rough for Peru to find a way in. Especially if you can't land those shots.
Thrown down. They're all playing the throning game. No shit, but you gotta land those. Axmir somehow able to get away from there. Now Shepard is gonna be the one to fall.
Yeah, slowly but surely the Peruvian line's being picked apart.
They have to win in 10 seconds. Is it possible?
No, I will give it to you. You can have 13 to 13:59 because you said 13 minutes. So
yeah.
Wait, did you say bye? I'll have to consult the clips. Did you say bye 13 minutes?
No, I said they'll win. It's gonna. You said at what time? I said 13 minutes.
I'll give you the full minute for that one. So if we get to 14 minutes, then I suppose if we don't get to 15, then we both lose. I suppose.
You can also just see who's closer. I guess you will be, but who knows? Don't run away, guys. What did you pay them, Saint? What did you do?
I slipped them some dollars.
God damn it.
Offer them a buy in the next round,
Oh, that's what it was.
Yeah, so thank you very much.
Hey, they're all making a run forward. I like the effort, though. Never give up. Try and see what you can do. They need 3 kills per person. It's not impossible, but it is improbable.
Yeah, I mean, I think realistically, you need a hero play from 1 or 2 players right now. The Argentinian wave is coming, the blue wave, joining the blue zone to try and get rid of the Peruvians in a bit of a firing range as 10 guns lights up in sync.
No,
yes,
over 14 minutes.
I'm closer. Come on, just stay in the blue. Stay around. It's high.
14 minutes. As long as it doesn't go to 15, then you theoretically didn't get completely correct either. Come on, push! Push!
I'm looking at the mini map, and there's one Peruvian player that's really fast to the east.
Oh,
he's
gonna make it. Is he gonna survive for 40 seconds though?
I believe.
Is he gonna survive for 40 seconds? No, they haven't found out. Yes, die to blue. Perfect.
He's gonna survive. Confused.
30 more seconds. Yes. No, he's in. No.
Do it for me. Imagine if you somehow wins the game.
No, he's gonna survive. 20 seconds. Yeah, I'm afraid that's gonna happen. God damn it. Guys, can you kick him?
Oh, the Argentinians. They've thought they've won the game, but it's not over yet. Fuse is going to win this.
Admins can still kick him. They have 8 seconds to do it. Okay. God damn it, Fuse.
Argentina's falling apart. They're starting to kill each other. It was originally a 23-1. Now it's a 19-1. Imagine if you somehow find a way to win this. They're actually, if you look at where the circle's gone, it's gone really far north.
Blue.
Imagine if Fuse wins
They all committed so massively to go find him that they're dying to blue.
It's already 15 minutes. You can do it.
No, we can't kick him, unfortunately.
I
mean, you will lose as well if it goes.
They're all dying to the blue.
Yeah, because they're all.
Yeah, but I'll lose less. They
all committed so hard to go to Quarry. I will lose less. When has that ever been a thing? Either you win or you lose. There's no winning second place here, Saint.
I
He's
beg to
actually-
differ. Oh, come on, Emmy, go. 15 seconds. Rusty's going to hit a snipe from behind. That's it. That's going to be the
Not gonna
closing moment.
happen.
I still will lose less.
They're all running around with their pants.
15 is closer than 13 to
That
numbers
is
above
true,
15.
but it's not correct. I mean, if a math equation 2 plus 2, then 5 is not more right than 2.
I believe we should
Is he-
consult the clips because I said we're going to get to 15 minutes. I didn't say we're going to finish.
I don't think that's what you said.
Ah,
not what I heard.
I will.
No,
I will
no.
consult the Twitch VOD.
No. Have they found him?
I mean, technically, since Hughes was the last one alive, he's outlasted 9 Argentinian players.
That is
He hasn't actually shot a bullet, but he's doing quite well.
Have to. You survive for it.
Yeah, I mean that is the name. It's a survival
Oh my
game.
God. This is.
Doing his best Rebo impression right now. He's not got the rookie
believe-
suit. He's in the zone. We're gonna get to 20.
Hughes got this. Oh, he's coming.
Oh,
He's
we got one.
found. He's been found. Now
12
what
more.
happened?
Oh,
Do they
he's gone.
shoot him or do they? They're going for the.
Oh, yeah,
pants, aren't
pans only. Pans on no balls. Pans on no
they?
balls.
They're chasing him.
Oh, but he's shooting back. No balls confirmed. There's
That
one.
would mean they would be unfair.
Ali's not got the memo.
Ones. Now Ali shoots him.
It's like a zombie game.
The pants are coming.
He got it.
Hey!
Draft King with the final.
Got him with the pen. 3-0. Clean sweep from Argentina. There was nothing Peru could have done to change that, I'm afraid. They got slaughtered. And I mean, sometimes you got to call it what it is. That was a slaughter right there.
Yeah, just a bit of a mismatch in terms of the, I think, the gun skill and the mechanical abilities of the two teams. But Peru still has another chance tomorrow. They will be playing, I believe, Chile. But that is an estimation.
We
based
don't
on-
know yet. There's a lot of good players coming out of Chile. We'll see if they can beat it down Brazil. But that was a one-sided affair, to say the least. An entertaining one, though, I must say. Despite Peru not winning, they managed to make it an entertaining viewing experience.
Yeah, a lot of respect to Peru that even when they had such a big disadvantage towards the end of this game, they were still trying. These 7 players still trying to make it to the zone. So obviously it's all a bit of fun, but a lot of respect to them to try and make it to the end, try and get that far, even in the game where it felt so one-sided. I mean, if you survive for ages.
Yeah, he is the longest-lasting Peruvian player. That's a statistic he can be proud of. He outlived a lot of the players. And I think with so many people dying to blue there, you're probably right that Argentina killed more Argentinian players than Peru did.
Yeah, at least in this game, it kind of felt that way. But overall, I think this is just a testament to how strong Argentina is as a region, right? I mean, we saw Peru drop the hot 3-0 against Paraguay, and then they come into this and just get smashed. So I'm really excited to see those sort of later stages now where potentially we have that, Argentina versus Brazil. And later on, one of those presumably against USA, unless Canada produces an upset. So there's the later stages of this tournament is going to be insane to watch.
We need the SpaceX satellite internet connection so that we can get one ping servers on a global scale, so that we can have global tournaments being brought to you online. That'd be the next level, because I want to see a team like Argentina go up against Russia. I mean, because it's so just like we saw with Peru and Paraguay wide, that looked like a very good game going in Peru's direction, and now we see Peru get slaughtered. Then I want to see Argentina, if they go up against a team like Russia, how would that look? Because on paper we can say, but they both did really well up against their respective opponents, but how would they fare against one another? They could be 3-0 to either team. We wouldn't know before we see it.
And I think a big takeaway from today is that you can't really use your previous experience in the game, your previous performance to sort of signify how well you're going to do in the next match, because it's a completely new game. Paraguay and Argentina had such a different approach to the game. First off, Paraguay were much more defensive. So you're approaching that first game where you're playing against a team you should be the favourites against, like that Paraguay match, like we saw with Hungary versus Poland. You just can't bring that same strategy towards the sort of the more experienced opponents, because it just doesn't work.
Yeah, it's tricky, especially when your opponents are playing as well as Argentina. They were having fun with it too in the end, but still maintained their integrity, competitive integrity in terms of actually hitting the shots when they had to.
Yeah, I mean, at least in the last game, it was signs of life from Peru, right? We saw on that hill that they were able to effectively hold off the push from Argentina. I mean, yes, they lost players doing it, but the sort of the overwhelming. I mean, they had, I think it was a 6-man advantage Argentina had as they went into that gunfight, and for a while at least, it looked like Peru was in the ascendancy and starting to come back from the game. I mean, yes, it didn't work out in the end, but at least showing to themselves that later on in this tournament that perhaps they have a chance if they come up against. Because I mean, that circle was really rough on them.
Yeah, it was pretty tough. And to be fair, Argentina made it tough for themselves too, because they started sprinting the opposite direction of where the next circle was. But it was fun nonetheless. Very, very interesting. Let's take a look at exactly how many kills these Argentinian players managed to find. We get to see a bit of a stream phase there as well. There was Pomme satisfied with the win. You can see him all smiles. And let's look at Argentina here. 11 kills for Quick. Wow.
Yeah, and you see also that actually this was much more about the individual for Argentina. I mean, less than half of their players, I think actually exactly half of their players were getting kills in this. You know, we see 11 on Reyes, 7 on Fisher, 6 Pomme. Right, and you go towards that the Peruvian side, and actually less players got kills, but also there's that less of a range between the players that, you know, you didn't have those individuals step up quite like you had for Argentina. And you also didn't quite have the diversity of fraggers.
Exactly. It was a tough one. Marlon does find 4 kills, so something did work in the favor of him and his team. And yeah, I mean, as you're saying, it's there's only one more player on Argentina that actually found kills than Peru.
Yeah, and it's completely different to what we expect. Where we expect that the teams that do well, teams that across the whole team they're getting kills, across, you know, everyone's having an impact. But realistically, that was just about the gun skill of those players in Argentina and proving that they are a team to be feared, at least in the bounds of the Nations Royale.
Exactly. Argentina, they have made their way through. It was a very fast endeavor, so I don't think the Brazilian and Chilean match has finished just yet. We'll have to wait. But Peru will be going up against Mexico. That's going to be next week, as you can see, May 27th. And then Paraguay will be playing against the loser of either Brazil or Chile. That's going to be a fun one to watch as well.
Yeah, there's an opportunity for those teams that do lose those games to sort of redeem themselves, to prove that it was not necessarily a one-off, but a bit of an off day for them. Because I still think there's a lot more to come from Peru. I mean, especially if we look at that initial game that they had against Paraguay, they looked so much better in than they did this time around. So I'm excited to see what they can do against Mexico, if they can sort of return to their old form and make it to those later rounds, which I expect they might. But I'm also excited to see those later rounds between the sort of the big teams.
But guys, that's going to be it for us today. It was a lot of fun watching all the way through, whether it was crazy slaughters or it was a straight up match between the two teams. We had some fun endeavors both from EU and NA. Next week is going to be same time, same place. So if you haven't already, make sure to follow on Twitter, on Twitch. You can follow Saint and I as well. And thanks for joining us for a ride. Any closing remarks from you, Saint, before we hop off?
I'd say next week we're going to see the big hitter games. You know, we're going to see the teams who have won 2 maps in a row against each other. So I think if you want to watch some great Nations Royale between some great teams, it's going to be a great one next week.
Asia, North America, South America, Europe, doesn't matter where you are. That's going to be Nations Royale coming your way. Guys, thank you so much for tuning in today, and see you all next time.